Devastating news like the Ukrainian crisis has taken a toll on people, making many feel empathetic towards the situation and increasingly worried. Psychologist Dr. Kevin Gilliland joins us this morning with coping tools to help manage stress and anxiety to improve our mental health during breaking news. Welcome, Dr. Gilliland.
Good to be with you.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on this morning. And I wanted to ask, what kind of toll does news like the Ukrainian crisis have on our mental health?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it has a significant toll, and we all personally know that because we're just getting towards the end, hopefully, of COVID and a lot of political strain. And that's really critical for us to remember is that we're stepping into this Ukraine crisis with kind of a low psychological battery, just a lot of fatigue. And this situation has a lot of uncertainty, which can lead us to worry a lot, get anxious, and a lot of sadness because of the impact on just everyday people. So it's significant.
Yeah, I think with that uncertainty, like you mentioned, it can definitely bring that fear. So, how can individuals cope with the influx of terrifying news?
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to something we all learned the past 2 years. Eliminate user error. Too much is a bad thing. And if you know you struggle with worry or excess worry or can get really pulled down and watching too much, reading too much, it can have a significantly negative effect on us. And so be mindful of how much you're watching, how much you're reading, and how much you're taking in, because it will start to affect our physical and psychological health. So have a strategy, get just enough information, and then step back into things you enjoy.
Okay, that's all helpful information. And are there signs to be aware of if we think a loved one may be suffering from anxiety or depression due to the influx of scary news?
Yeah, it's look for, be as specific as you can, because none of us like labels, including me. And a Google search does not make you a doctor able to use labels. If you see something specific, like their mood is down, they're sleeping a lot, or not enjoying things, or worrying and talking about things all the time, or they've started drinking more than usual or using more marijuana, those are all things that may be signs and symptoms that I'm too plugged into this and it's having a negative effect on me across a lot of areas in my life.
And Dr. Gilliland, if we do notice someone going into a state of panic, highlighting the steps you just mentioned, what can we do to provide help?
Well, first of all, just talk to them. Try to get them engaged in things they enjoy and that you know they enjoy. And if they're really struggling and those things aren't helping, especially moving, getting out, being engaged, not just focused on this one really difficult issue, and you can't pull them away from that or they don't seem to be getting better, just encourage them to go talk to somebody for a few times to sort through it. It doesn't mean we need therapy, but we may need a few conversations to develop some strategies and manage our worry and sadness.
And how can we manage our news intake? You kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. What tips can you offer to manage and balance our mental health?
Okay, look, we know how many steps we take. We know how many calories we're consuming. Count and keep track of how much you're consuming on your phone. Some of our phones will do that for us, and just track how much am I reading. And at the end of the day, go, all right, how much time did I actually spend on this subject? And most importantly, how does it make me feel? So just monitor, just keep track. You don't have to for a long time. Do it for 2 or 3 days and go, wow, okay, I've got to pull back some and find the right amount of information that doesn't negatively affect me all throughout my day.
Yeah, I think that's helpful. Like you mentioned, our phones do track it. I get it at the end of the week. It'll tell me your intake has been 20% up, which doesn't always feel that great, but it's good to know so I can better manage going into the next week. And what would you suggest parents do to discuss devastating breaking news like the Ukraine crisis we mentioned with their children? If they're noticing their children too are kind of in a depressed state, what can they do to help them out and talk to them about it?
I'm so glad you asked that. I actually have a couple of colleagues and friends in Germany that I've talked to, and in particular about adolescence. And you go, it's a very different experience for them. It can be very scary. You have to have some of the same conversations with them and also be mindful. Worry and anxiety is contagious. So if you're caught up in it, you probably are contributing, or there's a chance you're making it worse for our young adults. Just have fair conversations and come back to all right, we're in a very different place in a very different location. It may or may not affect us. What they're really wrestling with is the uncertainty. And we just don't know. And that's a difficult place to be, but at least talk about it. And consuming more information will not make it better. It actually is going to have the opposite effect. So talk to your kids. Don't talk all day about it. Talk a little bit and then step back into the things that you know they love, whether it's a movie or going for a walk or reading or art or music. It's those things in life that help to balance very difficult and uncertain times. And we have to have that. Those things are good medicine.
Yeah, I like that. Providing different outlets for these stressful situations. Dr. Gilliland, I'm so glad we got to have you on this morning. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can go for more information. For more helpful tips, you can visit drkevingilliland.com.